to worry a lot about that, because in that natural community, again, the muskrat's job is to help keep those ditches open so when it rains hard, a lot of the excess water can drain away the way it's supposed to. Okay, this is another rodent. This is a muskrat. This is a woodchuck or groundhog, and he's a rodent. His job is to dig holes. He doesn't just dig one. He digs a lot of holes, like 6, 7, 8 holes. One groundhog will dig, and then they bring the mineral soil up from 5, 6, 7, 8 feet below the surface, and it mixes with dead grass and leaves and twigs and stuff like that. And over long periods of time, again, this is helping to build the soil because it allows water, air, and stuff into the soil. Also provides homes for other critters like foxes and snakes and lizards and even some birds like burrowing owls and stuff like that. Well, not that they're in Pennsylvania, but they use these abandoned burrows for homes. And so the groundhog, his job is to stir up the soil. And farmers do that in the spring and go out and stir up the soil, plow it, stir it around, put fertilizer on it to make their crops grow. And again, we can't pay people to do that all over the natural community, so these animals are doing it. They're stirring up the soil, not just groundhogs, but you know, anything that digs in the ground, earthworms, grubs, you name it. There's probably thousands of species of organisms that are in the soil, stirring it around to make it mix and grow and become better, so that it will to produce topsoil, I guess is what I'm saying. And this is a lazy groundhog. You know, I said, I don't know if you looked at this closely when you had a chance up there, but this groundhog, his teeth, we call it malocclusion. The teeth didn't meet right or function the way they were supposed to, so they didn't wear away. As the animal chewed on things, the teeth didn't wear away, and so the teeth became so large that the animal was dying. We found him. They were concerned because he was sick. He was running around stumbling, and we thought he was sick, so we shot him.
By sick, you mean something by being sick?
Well, he could have had, you know, who knows
what. I thought you meant like brain damage.
Well, that's what people are usually concerned about, but anyway, that's why we disposed of them, and then we found out really what the problem was, that his teeth were, these front teeth were growing a circle, actually growing up into the roof of his mouth there, so he couldn't very well do his job.
I guess 14 or 13.
Yeah, 14?
13.
No. Gray squirrel, anyway. This is the gray squirrel. His habitat is where? Trees, right. And gray squirrels, they like to eat seeds and nuts. And they'll find them, or acorns and the like, and they don't eat them all right away. They'll take them in. The gray squirrel especially likes to bury them in the ground. Now, other squirrels, red squirrels and the like, they'll maybe put them in a hollow tree or something like that. But the gray squirrel, he likes to bury them. So the gray squirrel's job is to plant trees, and he puts those seeds in the ground or those nuts, and the seed will maybe grow into another tree or bush, or if it doesn't, it rots up, and there again it helps to build the fertility of the topsoil, which is what we have to be concerned about.
This is 15.
This is 15, and this is just, I just wanted you to see, this is the skull of a mouse. Right? Did you see it when you had a chance to look around? It's the skull of a mouse. Now the bottom jawbone isn't there, but it would look a lot like the beaver skull if we took the beaver's jawbone off. This is an omnivore, or I'm sorry, a herbivore. It just so happens most of those we've been talking about so far in the herbivore classification were rodents, but this is also an herbivore. Anybody want to guess what this was? Right, white-tailed deer. This is a female white-tailed deer. This is a male white-tailed deer. So an interesting thing about deer, which I didn't know until I was a little older, was that deer don't have any teeth in the upper front of, like here in the front of the jaw. They don't have teeth there. They have these big teeth back here which do grinding, and their bottom jaw, I don't have a bottom jaw on this, but the bottom jaw looks pretty much, there's grinding teeth in the bottom jaw to match these. Then there's no teeth here, but up in the front of the deer's mouth, on the bottom jaw, there's I forget how many, eight or so little incisor teeth that they use to nibble on trees. Now, what's the deer's job? His job is to eat trees, eat plants. A deer is an herbivore, but it's classified within that herbivore we call a browser, because they primarily live in the woods and they eat leaves and twigs and buds off the trees, which is what we call browsing. They kind of go around and nibble here and there. And so that's the deer's job, is to eat little trees, so that not every seed or every nut that falls on the ground grows into another full-size tree. If that happens, there will be room for us. We can live here, and we don't have to worry about it, because that's the deer's job. But just like the mouse, if we allow the deer population to become too high, or the population grows too much, then the deer eat too many trees, and that causes problems in the natural environment. So that's the reason we have.
Do you want to, we only have a few minutes. I didn't know if you want to do any of the birds or anything like that.
Okay, then we have the elk. The elk is it looks like, looks similar to the white-tailed deer, but it's a grazer, the elk. But generally speaking, the elk is a browser, the deer is a grazer. I'm sorry, vice versa. The deer is a browser and the elk is a grazer, and that way they look similar, use similar tools, but they do different jobs in the natural community. There's twice as many habitats, twice as many species can be provided for in that regard. This is the skull, number 19. Anybody guess what it was? What? Right, this is the skull of a snapping turtle. Now, as a game warden, I didn't do too much with snapping turtles. The fish commission, fish warden, he would handle those. But I thought I'd throw it in because I have the skull, and it's interesting to look at it, to sort of contemplate what he called does, a snapping turtle. But they're carnivores too. They eat fish and other things that come too close. Number 20. Anybody have a guess about that?
May I have your attention, please, for the afternoon announcements?
Great.
Any student who needs to access their network folder can report to the library after school to do so. Again, if you haven't been able to access
you're right, this is a great blue heron,
come to the library after school.
They have special tools just to demonstrate special tools.
Is tomorrow.
Number 21 is a wild turkey. The wild turkey uses this tool to scratch. Looks like a rake. He scratches the in the woods, the litter, to look for anything, and they're omnivorous. They eat meat and vegetable matter, and you can see it has this meat that's kind of made for that. These are turkey feathers, of course, a tail and a wing feather. Number 22 is a great horned owl skull, one of the largest owls we have living in Pennsylvania. And this is an owl, a great horned owl's foot. And their job is to help the foxes catch small animals and eat them. To do that, you need a strong foot like this with needle-sharp claws. We call them talons, and a hooked beak. A hooked beak is what determines if it's a carnivorous animal. Birds don't have teeth, teeth are heavy, and so they use these beaks to rip the prey apart and then swallow the stuff, kind of like gulp it down whole. And then they spit out, these are owl pellets. I don't know if you've ever seen them before, but owls that eat these animals that have to swallow them whole, the parts that they can't digest, like hair and bones, they regurgitate or spit out these owl pellets.
That is